Master, as you can see from the channel name, and today I will be doing my scare factor on every FNAF game from least to most, excluding FNAF AR. But if you want me to do a FNAF AR video in the future, please let me know in the comments below. Maybe a ranking from best skin to worst skin, or my top 5 favorite skins, maybe. Let me know. And there will also be a mini theory for the Phantom animatronics, so please make sure you stick around for that, because you might learn something new. You may never know. Before we begin, please make sure to use your GrimFoxy sickle to slash that subscribe button and like button with notifications on. That way you'll know when I come back. Now, let's begin. Coming at number 7 is Ultimate Custom Night, which came out in 2018. I honestly find it more fun and challenging because the hotkeys you have to remember and things like that, you know. It's meant to challenge you, you know. It's not just because of the lore aspect. Where, you know, you can change your animatronics aggressions and things like that, you know. It's more fun for me because I don't get a lot of jump scares whenever I usually do. I usually get a bit upset when I'm like at 5 a.m. and I'm just about to beat that custom difficulty that has like 10 to 20 animatronics on. Sounds like nothing, but trust me, it's pretty difficult. However, of course, I do get scared from it from time to time, you know. It may not scare me at all that much. That sounds so weird. But I still get scared from it from time to time. Like, I usually get jump scared by Nightmare. It usually scares me. Nightmare Beyond's jump scares sometimes get me, but it's pretty rare. It's just, I usually get raged by getting jump scared by freaking Nightmare Beyond and Nightmare Baby. They're the most annoying ones out of all of them. But of course, I do enjoy Ultimate Custom Night for the fun aspect and the lore aspect more than I really enjoy it for the fear factor. So there's not really much to say about Ultimate Custom Nights, so for fear factor. So that was number 7. Ultimate Custom Night. Alright everybody, coming at number 6 is FNAF Sister Location, which came out in 2016, 2 years before Ultimate Custom Night came out, and 3 years before Help Wanted came out. I don't know why I put that in, just guess to give some nice history. This game can be absolutely terrifying if you have no idea what you're doing. Trust me, it can be. It's absolutely terrifying if you don't know what you're doing, or if you can't do it correctly. It's not very nice to you sometimes. But of course, I can usually know when I'm dead or not. You know, I'll know when I screwed up with the Ballora part. I'll know when I screwed up at the freaking Funtime Foxy part, which always gets me. But of course, the game is still great and creepy. I don't hate any of the games. I love them all. There's, of course, like I said in my other video, which was my ranking on how much I enjoy them, basically my favorites, some other games are better than the others. I just like it more for the lore aspect and the secrets, more than the whole spookiness of the entire game, if that makes any sense. But what scares me the most is the jump scares, because the noise is loud. You could never expect to be able to brace for the impact of the jump scares like you can with FNAF 1 and 2. Like, you know, with FNAF 1 and 2, you know, with FNAF 1, you can know when Bonnie's in the office, he's gonna kill you. You can know when Chica's in the office. You'll know when Foxy's after you and you have nothing to do to defend yourself. And same thing with FNAF 2, you'll know when you screw up. You'll know when you screw up. Well, with Sister Location, you'll know when you screw up, but the jump scares are so loud that you just can't brace enough impact. You can never brace enough impact, even though you've heard it 100 times. You can't really remember how loud the jump scare is. So, and obviously the atmosphere makes it way creepier because of how quiet the game can be and how loud the jump scares can get. Not much else to talk about Sister Location when it comes to fear factor. So that was number 6, Sister Location. Alright, coming at number 5 is FNAF 2, which came out in November 2014, which is which is 3 months after the original came out. I don't know, I had to do simple math to figure that out. But anyways, now FNAF 2 is still creepy, but for me, a lot more intense than scary, A lot of people can agree FNAF 2 was a lot more intense than scary. But of course, FNAF 2 still has its terrifying moments. Like, every time you get jump scared by Withered Bonnie, or every time freaking Balloon Boy comes after you when you have to freaking flash Foxy again. But you can't because he's in the dang office. Sorry about that. A bit of rage. Let me know in the comments below what you think of Balloon Boy. He's a scumbag. He's an absolute scum. That was stupid. Anyways. But of course, what scares me the most in FNAF 2 is when the animatronics are in your office and you have that limited amount of time to put on the mask, and if you don't, it gives you that false sense of security, like, you don't get the jump scare right away like you do with FNAF 1. It's kind of like it decides to troll you a bit for, that sequence is gone, and it looks like everything's fine, but when you flip your camera back up, or if you don't do anything, then you get the jump scare. That's what terrifies me. And I can catch myself from nearly falling off my chair. You can make fun of me about that in the comments. I don't care. You can call me a chicken. I don't care. Honestly, I'll take it as a freaking compliment. I'm just weird like that. Much like Sister Location, there's nothing really else to talk about with FNAF 2. Honestly, so that was number 5, FNAF 2. Alright, coming at number 4 is FNAF 1, which came out in August 14th, 2014. 3 months before FNAF 2 came out. Now, FNAF 1 is easily one of the scariest games because of simply the atmosphere and the ambience. The atmosphere shows you how you are in a different game. A game where you have no defense but only limited power. The game also has some of the creepiest jump scares of the series, in my opinion, especially Bonnie's. Even Scott himself said that he had nightmares about Bonnie while the game was being developed, and all the other characters didn't scare him as much. And also just how you have to balance your power and keep watch on 2 animatronics, that being Freddy and Foxy, which Freddy doesn't activate until night 3, which he can be absolutely devastating when you have to deal with him. Because, of course, his movements will be slow if you keep watch on him. Anyways. Which, one of them, that being Foxy, will drain some power when they charge at you. And the thing that scares me the most with FNAF 1 is when you go down the hall, you haven't checked Pirate's Cove, you think everything's fine, and you check down the hallway, and you see Foxy running down the hallway. That always gets me. That always gets me. There's nothing really else to say for FNAF 1. I think I really covered everything. If I missed anything for any of the games, please let me know in the comments below. Alright, coming in number 3 is tied between FNAF 6 and Help Wanted. FNAF 6 came out in December 2017. Help Wanted came out in 2019. FNAF 6 is creepy because of the dark storyline in the office mechanic. You know how in the office mechanic you have the 2 vents, and pretty much, much like FNAF 4, it's pretty much almost all about listening and stuff. So that's what makes it scary. But of course, what makes it even scarier is the dark storyline. FNAF 6 is the game where it reveals the Puppet's origin, Charlie, if you want to be specific, this along with Susie, aka Chica, or so we think. I'm obviously one of the people who think that the gravestone ending is revealing the names for the FNAF 1 animatronics. It wouldn't really make sense if it was the Sister Location ones, because if it was the Sister Location ones, then there would have been Elizabeth's name as well. There would have been Elizabeth's name, and we know that Elizabeth's name would have been on there if there were the Sister Location ones, and it wouldn't really make sense if Scott wanted to do the Sister Location ones and just cover up Elizabeth's name, even though we already know her clear identity. And along with what makes FNAF 6 really awesome too is the return of Circus Baby and Springtrap as Scrap Baby and Scrap Trap, which I do not hate Scrap Trap, just to know. I do not hate Scrap Trap. I think he's a great character, a great addition. But if you don't like Scrap Trap, then that's your opinion. And also along with the dark secrets inside of the story as well that makes it scary. Help Wanted is creepy because of the mysterious plotline and dark resurrection of William Afton, which would make him both a spirit and a poltergeist. Obviously as a spirit, because, they can take the form of anything they want, and obviously, much like what my good friend, Speed Force Legend, said, much like with all the other games, it was more of a slasher flick, while with what Help Wanted did, it was a ghost story. But what makes Glitch Trapper William Afton a poltergeist is the fact how poltergeists try to get you into letting them possess you, which is exactly what Glitch Trap does in Help Wanted. And of course, by the power of VR, it also makes it terrifying because you endorse yourself. I don't know the word I'm looking for. Consume. Sorry, that was such an easy word that I somehow forgot. You consume yourself in the reality where where it seems so real that it possibly could be that you're in a completely different universe. That, that's exactly what VR is meant to do. But of course, I don't find this being the creepiest because number 2 and number 1 have what makes Help Wanted and FNAF 6 not as scary for me. Alright, coming at number 2 is FNAF 3, which came out in 2015. FNAF 3 has some of the creepiest parts of the storyline of the entire franchise, and at many points, you could find yourself disturbed at the sights of the secret death screens of seeing the rotted corpse of William Afton inside of Scrap Trap. Something else that makes FNAF 3 the second scariest for me is how the Springlock suits work. Honestly, it sounds like something that would fit for a Friday the 13th or a Halloween kill. Maybe a Nightmare on Elm Street. Maybe. But along with how it has the aspects of the other games, like false sense of security combined with atmosphere and even simply how the animatronics move and work, which makes FNAF 3 one of the most realistic games of the franchise because of how Springtrap becomes more independent and listens to the audio lures less and less over time. Because that would probably be something that would happen in real life too. Similar to kind of what Alien Isolation did, where you can use ways how to lure the xenomorph into certain areas, but over time they'll stop listening to them, They'll have the self-learning AI system. But that's a different idea for another day. Also, I've been thinking, not just doing a FNAF voice impression as well. I might, if this video gets enough appreciation and enough like, I might just do a Predalien voice impression from Aliens vs. Predator Requiem. And if not, a Xenomorph voice impression, a Xenomorph King impression, and a Fugitive impression. Let me know if you would love to see that. I think it would be a great idea, and I think it would be really fun for me. Anyways, coming at number 1, you've probably guessed by now, is very much FNAF 4, which also came out in 2015. But before we get into it, I would like to shout out Speed Force Legend Sir for suggesting this idea. Make sure to check him out. His video channel will be the link in the description below. Make sure to give him a sub. Make sure to support him. He just released a new video today that you're going to be seeing this being posted. Now, with that out of the way, FNAF 4. This is the creepiest for me, simply because how different it is from any other game. It opens a different part of fear. The fear of something in your closet. The fear of something being behind you. And the fear of being kept against your will. FNAF 4 brings back the childhood fears and makes you afraid of closing your closet and going to sleep that night. FNAF 4 is like a Nightmare on Elm Street because of how the rules apply. FNAF 4 makes you stay awake as a child for 6 hours with the fear of sleeping again, similar to a Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy keeps you from sleeping. He'll kill you in your sleep if you fall asleep. And much like FNAF 3, FNAF 4 brings back some old aspects of the game. of the games. I'm sorry. FNAF 4 brings back what FNAF 2 had, the false sense of security. It brings back what FNAF 1 had, multiple things to keep track of, although FNAF 2 also has that. It brings back what FNAF 3 had. What FNAF 3 had, the atmosphere. And it just seems so realistic in FNAF 4 and FNAF 3. You could imagine creepy animatronics going to your house, trying to, kill you. That's exactly how it works. It's stuff like that. Alright, that was my FNAF game ranking for Fear Factor. Let me know what your ranking is in the comments. I'd love to see what your opinions are. Don't be shy. Come on. I know you want to. Now, time for the FNAF 3 Mini Fury on how the Phantom animatronics work. So grab your Freddy Fazbear hats and prepare to be possibly mind blown. Alright, so what do we know about the Phantom animatronics? 1, they are obviously hallucinations. 2, anyone can see them. And 3, they can only be seen at Fazbear's Fright. Alright, so we don't really know that the Phantom animatronics can be only seen at Fazbear's Fright. But from what we know, we've only seen or heard the Phantom's attacks at Fazbear's Fright, so we can assume that they could be only seen at Fazbear's Fright. I mean, it's a Freddy Fazbear's location, after all. But how can exactly anyone see them? Well, in the Fazbear Fright story, what we found talks about a night guard named Hudson that works at Fazbear's Fright and sees, wouldn't you know, phantom-like animatronics. And another piece of proof of that is what Phone Dude says on night 1 of FNAF 3 when he tells you to keep the air flowing, because you'll start seeing some crazy stuff. Pretty suspicious, eh? Or should I say pre-sus, eh? That's the only Among Us reference you'll probably ever see. So we can assume that Phone Dude has seen the Phantom animatronics at some point as well. But the Phantom animatronics also have a strange look of burn marks all over their bodies. What could it mean? And something that's interesting is how all the Phantom animatronics are from different moments of both moments of time, which are way, way in the past. 1987 FNAF 2 with Withered Foxy and the Marionette, and Withered Freddy. FNAF 1 with Chica, and Balloon Boy with FNAF 2 as well. I forgot to mention him. I forget him at sometimes. Anyways. And of course, it is my proposal that they are also created from Remnant, Agony, whatever. But why exactly? Because if things like Shadow Bonnie, there will be another theory about that in the future, can be created with Remnant, then why wouldn't the Phantom animatronics? It would make sense. They are hallucinations, but they are hallucinations powered by agony. So that would be how the Phantom animatronics work. They're both spirits, kind of, in a way, and hallucinations, but they're powered by agony. Alright, everybody. That was my explanation of the Phantom animatronics. I hope that helped you understand a bit more. Remember to always send me your suggestions for a review and tell me your theories. Please, I'd love to see what you guys came up with. I think it would be absolutely amazing. I would love to see what your fan suggestions are. Okay? So, please keep them going. And I will see you next time.